I have my ideas, but can you tell me from your perspective, who is this show for and what message do you want viewers to walk away with?
I feel like the show is for everyone. May sound a little cliche, but I've had I've had genuinely so many people tell me different elements or things that they could relate to. I was surprised that our casting director, Kate.
Lord, thank you for blessing us on this wonderful, joyful evening, Lord. Bless the hands that prepared this meal.
What are you doing? I'll help you.
No, Mom. You cook, we'll clean.
It's fine.
Go get some rest.
Okay.
Okay, what are you up to? That was some extra praying.
I literally don't know what you're talking about.
Fellas, we're going to a strip club.
Bro, you're too stupid to do whatever it is you think you're doing.
Just be cool. If anyone asks, you're 18.
You ever been to a strip club, Al?
My uncle brought me to a bar once. Had this girl dancing topless in the back.
Did you touch him?
No, I started hyperventilating.
You're a good kid. You're not like those other boys that be in the street all day. And I love you.
I love you too. Good night, Ma.
Rogelio, you just remind me so much of him. That little grin, the way you walk, and you're taking care of your family. Like him.
I got mujeres like him too, no?
Mira, coño. Go to bed. Have you been in here before?
Used to come here a lot back in the day, yeah. Spot side, not my favorite.
What do you do?
Sell cars. Use my car.
Ventura, California.
We worldwide, man.
Yo, let's go!
What the fuck is this? Yo, I told you, my aunt is a driving school instructor. Borrow the car.
There's a break on this side too.
Oh, yo, y'all bugging for real.
I swear to God, I'm done. I'll just go home.
I'm playing, bro.
I'll just go home.
Drive the thing.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to go on mute. And thanks again, Anthony.
Thank you. Okay. So first off, congratulations for your well-deserved win and the grand jury prize for best TV pilot at South by Southwest. I caught that. And I'm very, very happy for you. So congratulations for that first and foremost.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
I was able to watch the show. I was able to watch the pilot and I loved it. The show seems like it was a labor of love. So I was curious while watching this, is this your first time directing something of this scale?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was on track to direct an episode of New Amsterdam, my show that just ended. And they cut our last season short and the producers used that as a reason to not have me direct. And it worked out beautifully because in order for me to direct an episode, they said, you got to go out and shoot a short film.
Okay.
And there was a couple of ideas I had in mind. And this one in particular, as you may know, came from Chaz Hazlitt, who is a amazing barber and a celebrity barber. And I recently got him onto our show, New Amsterdam, where he's cut for the last couple of years. I've known him for a few years longer than that. And every morning while I'm sitting in his chair, he just has me cracking up. I don't care what kind of mood I'm in. Chaz is a funny guy. And and they're usually stories from his childhood. And one of them, he said that he had been going to strip clubs since he was 14. And I laughed and I thought, what in the hell must that have been like? And he told me that he would wear his Catholic school uniform and he would tell the dancers that he was a car salesman. Brother, it writes itself. It's just hilarious. And so I start writing and I start filling in these gaps. This lead character comes to me, named Rogelio, who recently lost his father. And then he has a sister. And there's this plot twist that happens later on, as you saw. But I actually wrote, the twist came to me first, and I wrote around that. But this heartfelt yet funny story came out, and I was quite proud when I was done writing it and excited from the script, from the inception. And it has just been quite a ride since then.
Well, as someone from the South Bronx who grew up in an Afro-Latino neighborhood, I really relate to this. You know, I'm also terrible at basketball, so you're 2 for 2 there.
Great.
I have my ideas, but can you tell me? I'm sorry?
Well, don't forget, I'm sorry. I got to ask you because I've been surprised by the number of people, number of crew members, et cetera, who said they had the same experience. They had been going to strip clubs since they were 14. Did you have a similar experience?
No, I didn't get to the strip club till I was like 19.
Okay.
My mom kept me in the house.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I just, so many people can relate to that. It was wild to me. And I love, you brought up basketball real quick. I know this is not your question, but yeah, they sucked. And I wanted them to, and I wrote it that way. There's a couple of people who saw it and wondered about that. I have a really talented friend. He's actually a comedian, and we watched it when I showed it to him, and he was like, and he loves basketball and he's good at basketball. He's like, you got to just teach these kids how to play basketball. Like, but when I put them on the court, the shots were falling, and I told them, you guys have to play bad. You got to miss. And so, you know, it's just kind of, it was weird for them to throw up all those shots, but I didn't want any baskets to go in this movie. I wanted them to be very passionate about it. And it's supposed to be just funny and them having fun and taking it seriously and calling fouls, and they can't even play. You know, that's kid, you know? So that's what it's about. But I'm glad you peeped that.
No, I get it. I mean, like, you know, I was terrible on the court, and the other people would do that same exact thing. They would literally just start playing on our hoop as if we were invisible. So I was looking at that, and I was seeing myself in the show.
Wow. That's amazing.
You're right, and it makes it feel both real but also entertaining. So I'm curious if you could talk to me a little bit about your writing process for this. Like, did you work with anyone else, or did you just take the stories that you heard and filled in the blanks with, I don't know, with whatever?
All the story stuff outside of Chad saying that he was going to strip club when he was 14 with his friends, Catholic school uniform. He also said that he and someone of his buddies had, they would use a student driver car, and they tried to drive off, and the other passenger would hit the brake. And those are the two things that Chaz told me, and I wrote the movie around it. And these characters, I don't know. I've written one feature script before, but that was different because, well, that too was based on a true story and myself and these guys that I knew. And I knew them so well that it was so easy to write. I always feared what it would be like to write characters who are people I don't know personally. But this flowed out very well. Emma, played by Eliza Ramos, Josiah's mom. That character, I wanted her to just have a lot of heart, care about her kids. She may come across a little naive, but maybe she does know what her son's up to. And it's why she calls him and stops. Hey, come here. Let me tell you something. Just put the pressure on him and let him, you're such a good kid. You're not like those other boys. You don't be in the streets, do you? In fact, that scene, I wrote that day because I rewrote it that day because I felt like I wanted them to connect even more than what I had originally had on the page. And I said, just when he tries to leave the room, don't let him leave the room, and just bring him in and grab his face and kiss him. And she brought me to tears that day. But so I come up with the whole story and the dialogue starts to flow easily. And after that's done, I then start getting feedback and consulting from professionals. And that was a very interesting process. And you just open yourself up to, whatever criticism. And no one was particularly too critical. They liked it and they gave me their notes. And some I took, some I didn't. And I think what I took improved the script for sure. And those people are thanked, and the credits are my special thanks. And they're just happy. I must say, being at New Amsterdam and having that pool to draw from writers and producers to get their feedback, and producers specifically, Don Scardino and Michael Slovis, they were the ones who helped me with it as far as getting me feedback. And then there was There is, our camera cinematographer, Andy Vogley, who comes from the school of Breaking Bad, and he shot New Amsterdam. That's why it looks the way it looks. Just he's just fantastic. It's not just that he's a professional; it's that he's good. And then you have Gifford Byrne, our costume designer, New Amsterdam. You have our amazing casting director, Kate Reed, New Amsterdam, and so forth and so on. So that was very, very crucial for me to have been working on that show at the time that I made this movie.
Well, it looks beautiful. It absolutely does.
Thank you.
Now, this is a story of a Latino, maybe Afro-Latino young man who's navigating his way into manhood. It felt like it was too familiar of a story where there's like too many minorities, where fathers are not part of the household. I have my ideas, but can you tell me from your perspective, who is this show for and what message do you want viewers to walk away with?
I feel like the show is for everyone. May sound a little cliche, but I've had genuinely so many people tell me different elements or things that they could relate to. I was surprised that our casting director, Kate Reed, said she could relate to the strip club stuff because it reminds her when she was in high school and the boys, her that age, would go and try to get her to go all the time. and one of the earlier producers who came on, Andrew Zolot, he said in our first meeting, he said he read it and he stopped halfway through to call his friend and say, "Hey, you remember when we were blah, 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 blah," and it just jogged free these memories for him. And that's not what I expected. But as far as like Rogelio being Afro-Latino, Chaz is Latin and he's from Colombia, the real Chaz, and who it's based off. So I think it was important for me to sort of keep some of that sort of life in it, Latino. Although I think pretty much everyone I saw Latino, we had Afro-Latinos and some African-American that read for Rogelio. And I was open, but I think it was probably one of the most crucial parts was just matching up the family. And also, although we had an amazing pool of actors to draw from, I was shocked at the tapes that came in. It wasn't still the largest, seeing as it's a short film and, we have limited resources and time to get a whole lot of options. And so, but everyone that sent in their tape was just fantastic. But the first person I cast in the movie was Giovanni Christoph, who plays young Chaz. He's the silly one, the loud one, the one who claimed to be a car salesman. And his audition was he brought something to it and he brought it to life. And it was, I don't even know how to describe it, but it just made me smile so big. And I sent his audition tape to my mom. And my mom, I was in New York, she's in LA. I don't even know why I sent it to her. I was like, "Mom, look at this." It's like he made my movie start to come alive. And so I built the cast around him because once I have him in place, now I know my lead actor can't be the same type of guy or have a similar look. He's got to be, different. And casting went down to the wire the day before. I cast Josiah Gabriel, my lead actor, the day before. In fact, I recast that role the day before, and everybody thought it was crazy. Like, what the hell are you doing? And it was important, and it was such the right decision. It was such the right decision. And shout out to Chris Santiago, who had mentioned Josiah before. And I saw his tape, and I was like, there was that balance, too, of needing this lead character to be impressionable enough to be influenced by Chaz. And Josiah, at first, I thought had too much of an edge to him. I wanted that character to have an innocence, but he tapped into the innocence in a way that blew me away. But I'm all over the place with my answer. Back to what you were saying, I really do feel like everyone can relate to this film in some way or another. It's got a lot of family and I call it a film. I originally submitted this as a short film, and wrote it as a short film. But shortly thereafter, writing it, I said, I think that this can be a series, and I submitted it to Southwest as a short film, and they called me up and said, "Hey, we feel like there's more to this story and that these characters can live on. How do you feel about entering the TV pilot competition?" I said, "That's the train I'm on now with this thing."
Yes.
And that's how we got in there for that.
You know, I heard you referring to it as a short film, and I just want to speak it into existence, right? I wanted to give it that Bel Air energy. Let somebody see this and realize the potential. This needs to continue to be told. So I'm going to speak it into existence.
I appreciate it. We got some great feedback there at South by, but since then and since winning the award, it's definitely opened up more doors, and I have a huge meeting on Thursday about it that Thursday can't come soon enough. I'm just so excited. It's
I'm praying for you, man.
It's thank you so much. It's with someone that I'm just a massive fan, an idol of mine. I'm gonna meet with them. I just can't believe it. So
I'm excited.
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now I was curious. You're originally from Houston, right?
I was born in Houston and grew up in San Antonio, and I went to college in Houston my first year in college.
So this story, can you tell me? It's in New York City, right? What inspired that setting?
Yeah, shooting a movie in New York, I highly recommend it for anybody, man. It's just, I was talking in the last interview, and I'll definitely get to answering your question, but about just the process of getting these permits. It's not for the weak of heart, faint of heart. It's, like that amazing basketball court location, you need permission from the city of New York, and there's the Parks and Recreation or whatever it is office. And this guy just would not get back to us, just would not, till the last minute. And I wasn't stressed about it because we have so many other things that we got to constantly be doing in pre-production, and it's madness. But to get out there, and it was just amazing day that day in Brooklyn. And it's a beautiful day, and we did it. But aesthetically, just all the shots of New York City at night and day, it's just fantastic. Now, the real story took place around the corner in New Jersey. That's where Chaz grew up. I thought about shooting it there. I think it was going to be more difficult for us. And New York is New York. New York City is New York. I think it really works there with all the different boroughs and stuff. And it was nice. Nice experience. I think, and to answer, I think you asked me why New York?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm there. Yeah. And I'm proud that that's my first thing that I've directed was there. It's fantastic.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm a New Yorker. I love seeing us have our story told in a different light. It's not all cerebral police shows.
There's so much culture in New York. It's like its own country, I feel like. Really. And people say that about where I'm from in Texas.
Yeah.
But it's like, first of all, I think the funniest people in America are from the East Coast. Like, I've declared that. Like, I'm just like, I thought it was the people from down south and the people in Texas, but man, y'all are just amazing people. And it's great the crews working in New York, man. Oh man, just awesome. And so I'm looking forward to the next thing. I want to always shoot in New York. I want to always, when I'm acting, be on a show in New York. Like, I'm sold. I went there for New Amsterdam in 2018, and that's home. I changed my ID as soon as I could. I love it.
Welcome. So I've been reading up on your career a little bit in preparation for this interview, and one of my initiatives that I like to do is I want to try to help and give opportunity for people who look like me and try to give them maybe more of transparency into how they can grow in their aspirations and their dreams. And you were an actor on a few of my favorite shows and movies, right? Jarhead, Dreamgirls, you're on The Last Ship, you're on New Amsterdam. You know, I'd like you to talk about your journey a little bit in show business and how that journey has led you to this project.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. Let's see where to begin. I was in high school wanting to be a doctor or a dentist. I was so sure I was going to be a doctor that I had a medical symbol put on my high school ring that you get customized. I got to college my first year. I was at University of Houston, and I realized while there, I don't want to be in school for the next 12 years. I got to find something. Always artistically was talented, but never took a class of anything. My mom used to tell me in middle school and high school, Jocko, you got to take band, or Jocko, you got to take theater. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I already know what I'm going to do, Mom. And I took my first theater class in college, fell in love with it, moved to Los Angeles. My mom had moved the same year I went to Houston from San Antonio for college. My mom had moved to LA. So she had been there a year. I just called her up and said, hey, I want to come out there and pursue acting. She said, come on out. And so I went there. I finished up at UCLA. I got my BA in theater. So I studied it. Anybody who's interested in becoming an actor, by all means, you know, you got to study. I don't care if you started your career on TikTok or if you started your career as a stand-up comedian. You got to get your butt down to theater and get in the theater and get on stage and study your craft and read about it and learn about it and watch and study it and go to improv and make yourself uncomfortable, get out of comfort zones. And I did that for 5 years. And I did it so much and I took it so seriously that by the time I had my first audition, which was for a show on ABC as a co-star, I booked it out the gate. Second audition, booked it out the gate. And it doesn't normally happen. And I've just been consistently just working under the radar for most of my career, which has been great. And it's just, it's been wild. I mean, I've got a million stories that I could tell for inspiration. I'll give you one.
Okay.
I auditioned, you brought up The Last Ship. The Last Ship, I went and I was supposed to be on 5 episodes. That's it. That's what I was auditioning for. And I go, and this audition is for this military guy, and he's tough, and he's tough on the guys. He goes, get out, give me, you know, just all that stuff that I had never played before. And I struggled with the audition a little bit. And every now and then, you can call your team and say, is this really, I don't know, and I'll get out of an audition that we all agree I'm not right for. And listen, I'm an actor. I can transform and do everything, but it's like, some things. And in Last Ship, it wasn't one of those. Just now I can honestly say I just was like, just uncomfortable with it. And so I was reading with my friend Arlene Tour. She's an actress, and we're coaching each other. And she's like, come on, man, you got this. Let's go. Let's do this. And so I go in the audition and for the casting director, and I start saying this one part. Some auditions are just awkward. The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is another one. It's just the way it's set up. You're almost set up to film. They don't want you to film, but it's just like, you can't do this in a room. It's weird. But I do this one part in the scene and I mess up and I start over and the casting director says, it's okay. Everybody's messing up and having a problem with that part. And that was revelatory to me. I'm like, oh, okay. So parts that I might be struggling with, other people may be having the same thing. So we're all kind of still in the same boat. And so that was great for me to hear. And then I go on that. I do it. Executive produced by Michael Bay. I get a call, I think 3 weeks later, that I got the roles, which surprised me myself, and I'll tell you the lesson out of this too. And I go and I do those first few episodes and they keep me for the whole season. And at the end of that first season, the creator of the show, Hank Steinberg, comes up to me and says, don't go audition during pilot season. We're going to lock you in and make your series regular. And I had been a series regular on the series Crash back in 2008 and 9, and I worked with the late, great Dennis Hopper. I played opposite him. I was one of the last actors to be able to work with him, and that was great. That show only lasted 2 seasons. They screwed it up. Season 2 is they got rid of the great Glenn Mazzara as the showrunner, and they brought in someone else and did this stuff and messed it up. But so after that debacle, it took me 5 years to get a series. So for someone, Hank Steinberg, to come up to me and say, hey, you've done a great job, we want to keep you in and make you a series regular, that meant everything to me. I felt like my career was kind of starting again. And that 5 episodes turned into 5 years, 5 seasons. What if I had talked myself or my team to not go into that audition? You know, the last ship was, so the thing is, I tell people, get out of your own way. Sometimes you may feel like you're not good enough, you're not tough enough, not big enough, tall enough, whatever it is. But, you know, there's a phrase, you don't know if you don't go. And you gotta, you know, we all have haters, right? We're used to the term haters. We all have haters. Our biggest hater, I find sometimes, is that little voice in your head that tells you that stuff. And yeah, you just got to get out and go for it. Give yourself a shot.
Thank you. Those are definitely words of inspiration.
Yeah.
I know you're very busy. I promised myself I would be very brief, so I have one last question. Can you, and if you can't, that's okay, but can you tell me what you're working on now and what's next for Jocko?
Yeah. I am currently in Toronto, where I'm filming my first, in 20 years, my first comedy series. It is created by the great Natasha Rothwell. It's called How to Die Alone. Now, Natasha, for those of you who don't know, I'm a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan, and she's in those 2 movies with Jim Carrey. Destroyed it. And that's when I first really noticed her. She also was in season 1 of White Lotus, playing opposite Jennifer Coolidge, where she was nominated for an Emmy for her performance. So she's a beast. She also was, of course, on Insecure, where she starred in and wrote some episodes. I think she directed some episodes. She is something else. So here we are on this show. She's created her labor of love, 6 years in the process of her getting this show on the air. And Hulu picked it up. We're on Hulu. And Onyx is the production company as well. And we are doing 8 episodes. I think we start this fall. She's drives one of the carts at JFK at the airport, and that's her job. And I'm her boss, and we have a former relationship. We used to have a fling at work. And now my character's getting married, and she's just trying to navigate that and figure out what her life is now. And it's just written so well. I'm so blessed to be a part of this, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited about that. So there's that. Grown, as you know, we just came back from South by Southwest, and we have a couple of meetings, which is great. And that's it. And I got to tell you, that's enough right now. I will add that for those of you who've not seen New Amsterdam, I'm just so happy that we're on Netflix in the States now. We've been in other countries all over the world, but I was pretty shocked that we got on Netflix, as a matter of fact, because NBC has their own streaming platform, Peacock.
Yeah. And
whatever deal was made to get us on 2 streamers is amazing. And we, for over a month, were the #1 show on Netflix. And of course, after they run out of seasons to watch, that's going to decline, and it has. But we're still kicking butt on there. And I think at 4.5 billion minutes, we were the most streamed show in America on all platforms. Across all platforms, we edged out The Last of Us, which is doing very well on HBO. So that happened the week that our show was ending. So to get that new life injected into New Amsterdam as it's ending was just phenomenal, something I didn't expect. And Netflix is a beast. I didn't, because listen, since I've been on New Amsterdam, I've gotten recognized more than any time in my life. But I feel like that's now doubled with us being on Netflix. It's crazy. So I'm proud of New Amsterdam again. So check that out. Look out for How to Die Alone, and watch out for Grown, that we're going to turn into a series, and it'll hopefully be coming to a streamer or a network near you soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you sharing your story and your perspective. It means a lot to me, and I'm sure it's going to mean a lot to the people who watch this.
Hey,
really appreciate it. God bless you. I'm going to be rooting for you on Thursday. If you see the movie blog in your Instagram comments, that's me. Feel free to give me, I'm going to like your stuff. You ain't got to follow back, but I'm there supporting you. I appreciate you, man.
I really appreciate it, Anthony. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and appreciate what you do, and the positive energy that you're spreading out there. So keep that up, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
It must have been like 5:30 in the morning, early call time. Jocko comes in and he just slaps a script on my station. And I'm like, what's this? And he's like, this is your story.
I took a look at it, and the script just immediately resonated with me. Just in storytelling instinct and just sort of Jocko's sensibilities as a director.
He caught me overthinking a lot, but then he says, drop the lines. He said, be Chaz, and that lesson changed me forever.
I didn't expect that either. Thank you for making me cry over here.
This is only the beginning. This is just the beginning.
Now it's definitely changing. I see a lot more representation. I'm just looking forward to our stories being spoken more often.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap on Grown.